and welcome to worship with the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Clemson, South Carolina. Whether you are joining us for the first time or are tuning in every week, we're so glad to have you with us. I'm Eve Stevens, and I am a guest in this virtual pulpit this morning, even though this congregation is very familiar to me. You may know my sister Lee Stevens as well. You all are the village that helped to raise us. You might know our parents, who I'm pretty sure at this point have been involved in every way you can be involved in a congregation. Our mom, Cindy Lee, and our dad, the late, great Riley Stevens. The two of them made sure this community was at the center of our lives. And as a result, I have such fond memories of running around inside your building as a small child and feeling loved and cared for by this community of adults who seemed so interested in my growing up and unfolding and figuring out who I wanted to be in the world. You are the community that introduced me to the struggle for justice and taught me that there is always meaningful work to do in the world to make it more fair and kind. Work that can't be accomplished in a single lifetime, but can be carried for generations by community. It was growing up with you all that made me want to go into ministry, and fittingly, you ordained me. And now I am serving as one of the ministers of the Unitarian Universalist community of Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm so grateful for the ways that each of you is coming together to provide worship and classes and opportunities for social engagement and emotional support, even when we can't get together in person. Later in the service, we'll hear more details about what's going on in the life of this congregation and how you can stay connected or get connected for the first time. We're going to light our chalice now using the words of our congregational affirmation. We gather together in a spirit of love, with justice as our guide. This is our chosen covenant to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth with freedom, and to care for one another. Today's service explores a form of love that's not often talked about in progressive faith communities: patriotism, or better known, love of country. It's a word and a feeling that I've long wanted to lay claim to as part of my experience. I confess I am one of those people who often tears up during the playing of our national anthem, feeling that collective hush come over a crowd of people, and reflecting for a fleeting moment with my compatriots on who we have said since our founding days we want to be as Americans. We are less than 100 days away from Election Day, from that momentous opportunity to engage and live the fifth principle of Unitarian Universalism, engaging in the democratic process. And with that in mind, we'll explore together this morning what love of country demands of us. Welcome again. It's good to be together. The 19th century poet Elizabeth Browning writes in a sonnet to a beloved, "How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach. I love thee with the breath, smiles, and tears of all my life. And if God choose," she writes, "I shall but love thee better after death." Browning is steadfast, enamored. Her vow of faithfulness to the one she loves will not waver in life nor fade after death. 20th century poet Pablo Neruda writes stirringly to one of his beloveds, "Take breath away from me if you wish. Take bread, but do not take from me your laughter." Neruda, too, is captivated. He writes of a love that courses through him in his waking hours and haunts his dreams at night. The spark that lights him from within on dreary days. There is beauty in such ardent devotion, and we're fortunate when love's bliss overtakes us. It's well worth writing countless poems about. Even if we know that love requires more than this exhilarating rush of devotion if it is to endure. Despite the particularly contentious presidential race that was taking place in 2016, as you may or may not recall, the most read article during that presidential race in the New York Times that year was by philosopher Elaine de Botton. And this most read article was about relationship advice. De Botton said, "We must fiercely resist the idea that true love must mean conflict-free love, or that the course of love is smooth. It's not. The course of love is rocky and bumpy at the best of times." De Botton insists that if you are waiting to find the person who is without flaws, who will never disagree with you or cause you pain, you will be waiting a very long time. Often in enduring relationships, romantic partnerships, and in friendships too, when you stay in a relationship for years and get to know more and more layers of one another, you discover intense differences in opinion, even in values. Over the years, you discover dreams and hopes in the other person and in yourself that for so long you didn't even know were there. In other words, each member of a relationship is growing and changing all the while. And so we have to learn and relearn, not once, but countless times, how to relate to one another, how to show up for and enjoy one another. And through years of this process, love becomes something more than a rush of devotion and ecstatic joy. Love accumulates layers of complexity and understanding and commitment and recommitment. It becomes weather-worn and resilient. De Botton points out that if we wait for a love that is without struggle, without disappointments, without conflict, we'll miss out on love altogether. Patriotism, love of country, is its own kind of love, related yet distinct from our romantic and friendships. Many do experience that rush of uncomplicated devotion toward their country as well. And there are even love poems and love songs written to the United States of America. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed God's grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. The prophetic writer James Baldwin loved his country, this country, and he wrote about it often. Baldwin grew up Black, gay, and poor in Harlem. And he observed constantly how Americans related to one another across skin colors, across sexualities, and across class. Baldwin spent his adult life pushing himself to write with excruciating honesty about the intricacies of oppression and inequality in the United States. He loved deeply those words on America's birth certificate. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And Baldwin wanted to write in a way that would make it impossible for Americans to lie to themselves. Impossible for white Americans to let our conscience stay in a fitful sleep, avoiding how separate we've made ourselves from our Black neighbors, how superior we've imagined ourselves to be to people with Black and brown skin. Baldwin wrote often about the role of the artist in the United States. He said the role of the artist is exactly the same as the role of the lover. If I love you, I have to make you conscious of the things you don't see, conscious of the things you don't want to see. When Colin Kaepernick, former quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, a football team in the National Football League, when Colin Kaepernick chose not to stand during the national anthem before the start of a game, he later explained to reporters that it was in protest of racial injustice in this country, specifically in the form of disproportionate police brutality toward people who are Black. Those who took deep offense to Kaepernick's actions said he was being disrespectful to his country. To those who fought and died preserving it. Those who took offense, in fact, called Kaepernick's actions unpatriotic. That is, he was failing to show love for his country. Every time Kaepernick refused to stand for the national anthem, it was like saying, I'll stand, America, when the love flows both ways. I'll stand, America, when you live up to your promises, when you respect and fight for the hopes and dreams and basic dignity that live in me. When you fight for me like I'm fighting for you, America, I'll stand. The way I took it, Colin Kaepernick was not signaling that he wanted to leave his relationship with his country. He was signaling the time is now. Let's make this love real, not theoretical, not reserved for the singing of songs. Let's build in the streets and in the schools and in the workplace and in the home. Let's build together the kind of love that is layered and complex, weather-worn and enduring. the kind of love that allows continued growth and conflict. There's a bumper sticker I've seen many times, you may have seen too, that sums up an intense devotion to country, a patriotism with little room for conflict, the kind of conflict that leads to growth in a relationship. The bumper sticker reads, "America, love it or leave it." What if instead, where love is concerned, when it comes to our relationships with one another and with our country, what if we ask more of one another, listen more deeply, commit more to discovering a profound, layered, and life-giving form of love that will see us through the struggle and conflict that must come if we are to live up to what this country can be. Blessed be. Amen. This is a poem by the great Harlem Renaissance poet Langston Hughes called "Let America Be America Again." And Hughes actually wrote this poem in one sitting. He was on a train ride from New York to Ohio to visit his mother, who was suffering from breast cancer. And at the time that Hughes wrote this poem, he was in the midst of a great deal of personal turmoil, certainly because his mother was ill, but also because he was finding it so difficult to make a living as a Black poet in the United States in the 1930s. Hughes actually called himself a literary sharecropper, saying, "This country never intended for me to have a full pocket of anything but manuscripts." This is a longer poem with some language that's hard to hear. And it was written in 1935, so you will hear some outdated racial language as well. Let America Be America Again by Langston Hughes. Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain seeking a home where he himself is free. America never was America to me. Let America be the dream the dreamers dreamed. Let it be that great, strong land of love, where never kings connive, nor tyrants scheme, that any man may be crushed from above. It never was America to me. Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real, and life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe. There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free. Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across the stars? I am the poor, white, pushed, fooled. I am the Negro bearing slavery's scars. I am the red man driven from the land. I am the immigrant clutching the hope I seek and finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak. I am the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient, endless chain of profit, power, gain, of grab the land, of grab the gold, of grab the ways of satisfying need, or work the men, or take the pay of owning everything for one's own greed. I'm the farmer, bondsman to the soil. I am the worker sold to the machine. I am the Negro servant to you all. I am the people, humble, hungry, mean. Hungry yet today, despite the dream. Beaten yet today, oh pioneers. I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker bartered through the years. Yet I'm the one who dreamt our basic dream in the old world while still a serf of kings, who dreamt a dream so strong, so brave, so true, that even yet its mighty daring sings. In every brick and stone, in every furrow turned that's made America the land it has become. Oh, I'm the man who sailed those early seas in search of what I meant to be my home. For I'm the one who left dark Ireland's shore and Poland's plain and England's grassy lea. And torn from black Africa's strand I came to build a homeland of the free. The free? Who said the free? Not me, surely not me. The millions on relief today? The millions shot down when we strike? The millions who have nothing for our pay? For all the dreams we've dreamed, and all the songs we've sung, and all the hopes we've held, and all the flags we've hung. The millions who have nothing for our pay, except the dream that's almost dead today. Oh, let America be America again. The land that never has been yet, and yet must be. The land where everyone is free. The land that's mine, the poor man's, Indians, Negroes, me, who made America, whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain, must bring back our mighty dream again. Sure. Call me any ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain. From those who live like leeches on the people's lives, we must take back our land again, America. Oh yes, I say it plain. America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath, America will be. Out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we, the people, must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains, and the endless plain, all the stretch of these great green states, and make America again.
My name is Kathy Crane. I am a board member and am delighted to partner with Reverend Eve Stevens. If you are a visitor to UUFC, please be sure to check our website for information about how to contact us, to see information about what we have going on. And if you also want to receive the weekly connection, which sends out updated information every Thursday. For those of you who have received the weekly connection, you know that there is social time after the service today at 11:30. You have the link for that Zoom gathering. There is also a link in the weekly connection for the Thursday night bingo with Karen. And there is a link if you want to join the journaling class with Holly, which will begin in a couple of weeks on a Monday. So please check those out. There is also a very, very jazzy donate button. It's on the website and it's in the weekly connection. You are encouraged to pay your pledge that way. If you are a visitor, you can make a donation that way. And that donate button also allows you to provide a contribution to our benevolence of the month. This month, it is Family Promise that helps out with residences for people who are homeless. So thank you for checking all of that out. We are so very lucky in our fellowship that we have a retired minister among us, Reverend Dillman Sorrells, and she provided a wonderful service of reflection about this COVID pandemic in which we continue to find ourselves. Her sermon and all other sermons are archived on the UUFC webpage so that you can watch them again, see them for the first time if you haven't seen them already. We are also very fortunate with Reverend Christina Branham Martin, our newly ordained UU minister. She will provide her first service for us next Sunday and for the next couple of Sundays after that. So watch for information about that in the weekly and be sure to join in. Also in the weekly connection is my apology to all of you for a glitch with presenting the Monday night meditation last week with Jean Malmgren. We are so grateful to Jean for providing her meditation services for us. And stay tuned, we will get that glitch fixed. We also want to celebrate the good health of our UUFC administrator, Becky. She is getting better and better, and for that we are so glad. Thank you to the folks who have helped out with this service today. Petra Bear for the production magic that she does for us, and also to Christine Prado. Thank you for stepping in with the help with the hymns as our wonderful Elaine Faithful has become ill. So we wish Elaine the best. Thank you, Christine, for stepping in. Thank you to Corey Dodgens for the beautiful piano music. I'd also like to celebrate our religious education program. That is why I am wearing this religious education t-shirt, graced by the loan of Rosellen's beautiful chalice necklace. But I celebrate our religious education program at UUFC. You'll see a link in the weekly connection to be involved with covenant groups. There's a sign-up program going on now for those who are interested. That's a part of our religious education program. But we also have a very, very strong program for children. And if you don't mind my saying so, I am going to propose that one of the many reasons why Eve is such a successful minister is because of our religious education program. She was raised with us. She was nurtured with us. She is loved by us. Thank you for being with us today.
The Catholic mystic Thomas Merton had a letter writing correspondence with the renowned Catholic activist Dorothy Day. And for our meditation this morning, I want to share some words that Merton wrote today as part of that correspondence. But first, I invite you to get more comfortable wherever you are, sitting or standing. Now that we're at home, maybe you can even lay on the floor in a favorite place, maybe full of sun. Wherever you are, I invite you to put your hands, your palms on your belly, and feel your breath deepening for a moment. Maybe as that breath deepens, you notice your shoulders are relaxing, your jaw might release some of its tension. And as you continue to breathe deeply, I offer you these words of Thomas Merton for the collective sustenance of our spirits. Our job is to love others without stopping to inquire whether or not they are worthy. That is not our business, and in fact, it's nobody's business. What we are asked to do is to love, and this love itself will render both ourselves and our neighbors worthy. Amen. As we end this time spent together, whatever worry or sorrow you are carrying, may you feel held by the love of this community, this layered and enduring love that has been passed down over generations at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Clemson. And remember that you do not carry the heaviness of worry and sorrow alone. And whatever hope, whatever spark of joy you have this morning, share it with others. Find the courage and energy to share it with others. Take care and be well until we meet again.